Welcome back. Right now, the hospitality industry in Minnesota says it is at a breaking point. A survey from Hospitality Minnesota, the Minneapolis Fed, and Explore Minnesota shows more than 50% of businesses saw a decline in foot traffic and profits last year. The survey also shows more than half of hospitality businesses said immigration enforcement and activity had a negative impact. But they point to overregulation as well, like the Paid Family Leave Act and the $15 minimum wage ordinances as a big factor in their struggles.
But these aren't faceless corporations. These are family businesses, neighborhood restaurants, independent hotels that have survived a pandemic and are still fighting to keep their doors open and their people employed.
Hospitality Minnesota CEO Angie Whitcomb says lawmakers need to take action this session. She says they're looking for changes in the state's paid family medical leave policy for seasonal workers and an adjustment to the liquor posting law. A potential boost is coming for Minneapolis restaurants, so the city is one of 6 now part of a new American Great Lakes Michelin Guide. Gordon Severson has more on what it means.
For people who are outside of the culinary world, how significant is the Michelin Guide?
The Michelin Guide is sort of the pedigree of success.
When Chef Gavin Kaysen moved back to Minnesota, he wondered if he would ever receive a Michelin star. He has worked at Michelin-star restaurants in the past and has seen how life-changing the honor can be, not just for a chef, but an entire community.
It has been proven that it's a generator of tourism. A friend of mine named Bobby Stuckey, who had a restaurant in Colorado, when they got a star, he said 100 guests were in his restaurant on a Saturday night and 40 of them had traveled there to eat in that restaurant.
With visitors spending money at hotels, coffee shops, and stores as they travel the world looking for the best restaurants.
We know that culinary tourism is one of the driving factors in tourism.
Courtney Reese at Meet Minneapolis says the local hospitality industry invested $250,000 a year for the next 3 years to bring the Michelin Guide to Minneapolis.
When somebody comes into town, we're hoping that this is something that says, all right, I'm going to stay a little bit later. I'm going to explore the food scene a little bit more in Minneapolis.
The announcement became official Wednesday morning that Minneapolis and 5 other Midwest cities will soon be included in the guide. But Michelin representatives say their inspectors, as they call them, have already visited several restaurants in the Midwest. What we heard this morning is that these inspectors have already been out.
Yep.
Have you seen one come by your restaurant?
You would never know if an inspector was in your restaurant. I mean, they are truly anonymous. You don't know.
Kaysen says last year the Michelin Guide came to Boston for the first time, and only one restaurant received a star. Several others received the Bib Gourmand, an award given to restaurants that offer good value for the price. And several more also received a Michelin recommendation, which Kaysen says is almost as good as getting a star.
We genuinely don't know what it is that they're actually looking for.
So he doesn't know if any of his restaurants will even get mentioned in the guide. But just having the guide here in Minneapolis will bring an enormous amount of international exposure to the local restaurant scene when owners need it the most.
The last 5 years have been really hard in our profession. ICE to COVID to the murder of George Floyd and so on and so forth. It has really been detrimental in our hospitality profession. This type of announcement allows us to be in an opportunity to position ourselves to say, like, Minneapolis is open for business.
Gordon Severson, nice report there. Michelin representatives say inspectors are on the ground exploring culinary scenes in Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Detroit, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh. Chicago already on that list. The inaugural restaurant selection for Minneapolis is going to be announced next year. Now to a sweet story out of a Cottage Grove where a dad is getting a new lease on life. It comes after a plea from his young daughter in the form of a colorful picture that gained attention online, leading to a gift from a stranger. Brian Katene has the story.
I like to draw the sunsets.
For as long as she can remember,
I'll just draw anything.
Camila Zenner has expressed herself with markers, pencils, and paper. Her family will tell you the 10-year-old's creativity is a gift.
Yeah.
But they never imagined Camila's gift would be the reason her dad received what they call the gift of life.
It is. It's incredible.
When Brian Zenner was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease in 2014, he knew it would be a long road ahead.
For me, it ended up leading to failure.
He began dialysis for his kidney failure, but what Brian really needed was a new kidney. When his wife Jackie began spreading the word in hopes of finding a donor, Camila stepped in.
And I grabbed a piece of paper and I just put together a drawing out of my imagination.
When I first saw her drawing, it was definitely emotional.
I wrote, "Please help my
Camila's drawing
daddy find a kidney."
traveled the internet and soon reached Jennifer Aspen in Woodbury.
Not having a dad is super hard.
Jennifer's dad passed away in a construction accident when she was 5. When she saw a post of Camila's drawing, she knew she had to act.
I really felt just that, like, God was like, yep, you need to do this.
While Jennifer's kidney wasn't the best match for Brian, she still donated on his behalf through a national kidney exchange program. Jennifer donated her kidney to someone else in order for Brian to receive one that's compatible with him.
Incredibly fortunate.
More than 1,000 patients at mHealth Fairview are currently waiting for a kidney transplant.
The really incredible part of this is the bravery of Brian's daughter to go and ask for help.
Dr. Karthik Ramanathan performed Brian's surgery and says every year there's a growing shortage of donated kidneys for people who need them. People like Camila's dad,
Now I get to spend more time with him.
saved by people like Jennifer.
And then this one's Jennifer's kidney. They're just helping each other.
Rai Katane, KARE 11 News.
Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.